All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
In the dark winter skies of 1989 and stretching into 1990, Belgium became the epicenter of an unprecedented UFO phenomenon that captured the world's attention. Over several months, hundreds of witnesses, including police officers and military personnel, reported seeing large, silent, low-flying triangular objects gliding through the skies. These crafts, distinguished by their triangular shape and rows of bright lights, performed aerial maneuvers beyond the capabilities of known human technology. The Belgian Air Force took these sightings seriously, scrambling F-16 fighter jets to intercept and identify these mysterious objects, which led to one of the few instances where a government military openly engaged with reported UFOs. Radar locks were obtained and high-speed chases ensued, yet no explanations were forthcoming. The wave culminated in a massive event on March 30th, 1990, when multiple radar stations, ground witnesses, and fighter pilots observed the objects simultaneously. This case file, join theories as we waffle our way through the events surrounding the Belgian UFO wave.
Welcome to Alien Theorists Theorizing Case File 349, the Belgian UFO Wave. I'm Braden.
I'm Zell.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Andrew.
Listen, I know you guys love stories about my upset stomach, and I got one for you. Got one for you guys before we
I think the entire fucking country of Canada has had an upset stomach for the last couple of days.
Yeah, it's been brutal.
So, other day, Jamie's cooking dinner. She's got... she's going to do a little shake and bake chicken with put mushroom soup mix, and you put the chicken in, then you take the raw chicken out and you put it in panko.
You're joking about the mushroom soup. You're just throwing that in for the boys, right?
Yeah. No, that's real. That's real. It's part of the story,
it's
though.
not.
Yes. So then the recipe says, put the raw chicken thighs in there, get it around, put it in the panko, and then you put it in the oven. So I come out and I go, oh, this looks good. What are you doing with the chicken soup? She goes, oh, I'm going to add stuff to it, bring to a boil, and I'm going to make like a gravy with it. And I go, ooh, that sounds good. She leaves the room. I get a spoon and I take one spoonful and I go, ooh, that's good. And then I go, it's cold. And I go, 2 spoonfuls. She comes back in the room. She goes, did you just eat some of that? And just by habitual, I go, no. She goes, good, because that just had all the raw chicken in it.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait a minute.
so I'm like, no. And then I'm like I'm like, typing on my phone, I'm like, how long does salmonella take to kick in for? How long does it take to kick in? I'm like typing on my phone. I'm like, what can you drink or eat to stop salmonella?
Vomit.
How likely are you going to get salmonella from eating food contaminated with raw chicken?
That's disgusting.
Like, 100%.
You said it was good? Sick. Like you just had a chunk of raw chicken?
Like, did you not even think about
I didn't eat the raw chicken.
The broth.
I ate the gravy.
But it still had raw chicken in it. Like, what?
Dude, I forgot. I
forgot it had raw chicken in it.
Like, you just grabbing one of those cellophane fucking packs of raw chicken legs and just slurping up the juice at the fucking bottom of the...
basically what happened there. So now I'm panicking. I'm instantly...
Where does the mushroom soup come into play?
Now I'm...
Do you guys put mushroom soup on everything?
Yeah, it's good, delicious.
It's terrible.
So now I'm like sweating, right, trying to play it off.
Extra
like,
fucking... How many calories do you think that can's got?
I can't be sick. Well, I also can't be sick now because I've just flat out been like, I didn't have any of this. You know what I mean? So it's like later, if I get sick, I'm going to be like,
I don't know. You have the benefit of always looking kind of sickly, though.
Luckily, it didn't. I missed it. I beat the odds.
The iron gut.
I beat the odds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that. The other thing I want to talk about is I'll cue the music. Space news.
You're talking about the cube? No.
Yeah, we got to talk about the Mars cube, the cube on Mars,
space cube.
boys. Right? That's fucking
Yeah, what are you
weird, huh? You guys see that picture? You didn't see that
that
picture,
one
Zell?
picture from that one guy.
Yeah, it's like a foundation
account.
Yeah.
That even from where did that guy even pull?
It's a foundation on
It's
Mars,
legit.
covered in sand.
Yeah, it's totally legit from that
Too
one guy.
legit.
Pull it up.
Too legit to quit.
Even Musk was saying they gotta research it and see what it is.
They don't exist in nature, right? We've learned that.
Perfect. I mean, it
Cubes
looks like
exist in nature. What are you talking about?
Perfect cube.
Ah,
you ever
dude,
seen,
it is
like,
so.
bismuth?
It is. It is so. It looks so odd that I was like, "Ooh, this looks
foundation.
exciting." Yeah, it's a foundation. It looks like that's
sure.
exactly what it looks like. Foundation to the Great Mars Pyramid.
Yep.
Look at that.
Yep.
All right, so here, this is the original picture, and then if you enhance the contrast,
Enhance.
Ooh,
enhance.
look at that.
Enhance.
Perfect. And if you overlay a square over that and shade the square a different color too, you can even make it look more like a square.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at that. Look at that perfect.
That bottom corner's got a nice right angle, you know?
Yeah. And you can see the impression of the other. Like, I mean, it does look like some sort of like foundation. Could you imagine?
We
if
do
we go
have
there?
two professionals to be consulted on this podcast right now.
Two.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, you and Braden. Does that look like a foundation?
yeah. I don't know. Hold on. You can't say me and Zell in the same sentence.
I'd say you are more qualified to speak on this being a foundation than you are about any UFO videos you've ever seen.
Dude,
It's true.
I've looked at way more UFO videos than I've ever spent building foundations, though.
Yeah, but you have like a
Realistically.
talent. You have a knowledge base there. You just fucking.
I do know
flick your bean
concrete.
and watch
I
videos
do.
on MUFON.
I do know concrete. That is true. 100% alien foundation.
100%. Definitive.
Without a doubt. And I've seen. Like Andrew says, I know foundations.
The chances aren't zero, you know? That could be real. Not
It would be
zero.
super cool if you go there and it's like just like hypothetical. Like say they start unearthing it and it's like, you know, and some sort of ancient structure with same kind of architecture that we have on Earth. Imagine that. How cool that would fucking be. You're just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and then it's
All they got to
inhabited by-
do is next time they send up a new rover, you attach it with, you equip it with LiDAR, and just start blasting Mars
All you gotta
surface
do,
everywhere.
Just blast it.
Doesn't LiDAR work from a satellite? Like,
No, you can do it on a drone. So you got one of those Mars choppers, those
Sure.
chopper drones. Didn't they have one of those?
Just
they
launch
did
the
have a little
Tesla.
tiny one. They had like
Launch
a
the
real
space
small
Tesla there.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually,
just
I was in
technology is getting
small,
better and
yeah.
better and better. Just a few more years, fucking LiDAR will become a little cube like this big. Could attach it to anything.
Does a drone work on Mars? Can you fly it and just?
Yes.
Is there enough of a?
atmosphere. Yeah,
If you spin the
Interesting.
blades fast enough, you'll be able to lift.
Cool. I
I had
didn't know
that one for a while. They were flying it around.
I thought that was a cool, kind of interesting thing that I thought we would talk about at the beginning of the show. But this case file we're doing today is for all the people that always joke about like, oh, aliens only come to the States, you know, or you got really excited. Oh, the United States Army admitted UFOs were real. It's like, well, fuck, the Belgians had them beat like back in the fucking 90s. Right? With the fucking, with what we're about to talk about.
Well, it's a hot spot there. You'd imagine the fucking all the Nazi shit with the UFO and all that, the saucer and all that kind of stuff, the Glocka. Like this is a hotbed.
Yeah,
It's
right on
not,
the,
the knowledge been fucking buried.
Fighters.
right on the other side of
Fighters.
the Iron Curtain there, like just hanging out.
Yeah,
Just like pretty close still there.
I'd say so.
Dude,
I
Nazi
remember
technology being test piloted.
like I
There is-
remember this Belgian UFO wave. Like I remember this stuff from
You
like,
remember
a
it
while
as
ago.
like when you were a child?
No, like I remember like
That's
I
right. You were probably like
remember-
16 when this happened.
No. But with the Unsolved Mystery, I probably would have watched it. Like I probably would have watched it.
Dan's actually 65 years old. if you didn't
He is.
Benjamin
I was still
Button.
using vacuum tubes since I didn't have quantum processors yet.
There's a phenomenal unsolved mysteries, like Dan said, on this. And this is the first one. I don't know. I tried to look at a couple, But Bobby Stacks is looking fresh as fuck in this episode.
He looks good.
Dude, he looks like he just walked out of Rudy's Antique Boutique with a fresh executive, fresh from Morty Seinfeld, because that thing is beltless. It is perfect. No fucking fold lines on that thing. I was like, this is the first time I've ever noticed an executive like out in the wild where I was like, holy shit, that's a beltless trench coat. That's an executive. I know what that is. Morty Seinfeld fashion circular. He is looking fresh as fuck in this episode.
This is the heights of Unsolved Mysteries. Like, I remember that. This is like 90, where they did this one in 90. Like, they did this one, like, this was still fresh, like, when they did it. And I think it was still, like, even after they aired the Unsolved Mystery, like, the Unsolved Mystery episode, like, it was, this stuff, the phenomenon was still going on. Like, they were still getting a large amount of reports.
Well, and they had introduced a lot of it to, like, the States for the first time. They're the first time watching some of that footage, right? Because it was, that's what they said on the, Robert Stack says on the show, is like, this is the first time that we've aired footage from the actual radar, like the radar detection systems on some of those jets or whatever they did, or displays. Yeah. And they showed them like live on national television. You're like, holy shit, it's pretty cool. So like the events, like the main events of the, what would be titled the Belgian UFO wave, like occurred between November 1989 and March 1990. And this is when, it's a UFO wave. UFOs were spotted all over Belgium by hundreds, if not thousands of people, reports like coming in from all over the place. And the very first one, or what is like credited as kind of being like one of the first like big events, is happened on November 29th of 1989. So around 5:30 p.m., you had two gendarmes, which are the military police.
It sounds like male prostitutes.
Probably do a little bit of both.
In the episode, I thought he said Van Dammes at first. I was like, two Van Dammes. I was like,
yeah.
They just come in the cars, and one of them's doing the splits between the two.
Yeah, while they were doing that, this is when they so it was Heinrich, Nicole, and Hubert von Montigny.
Holy
Montigny.
It's a tough name. It's a tough name when Dan takes a second stab at it.
When he puts his hand up and he turns sideways and kind of laughs at it.
Hubert von Montigny.
Yeah, it's an interesting spelling too. It's like Montigny.
So they were near the town of Eupen, Belgium, and during their regular patrol route, they saw some really weird stuff. They had the interviews on the Unsolved Mysteries with these guys, and it's like I find it really interesting when they have the interviews with. It's so strange because like something I just like noticed is like when you have like Americans reporting these. Like UFO sightings, there's almost like this like palpable kind of like fear like in them but when these guys do it, they're just like, hey, I saw something pretty cool. Like they're like excited to talk about it. Really, they're like, just like, I don't know what I saw, but it was really awesome. Like it was really insane. And then other people, like Americans, like North Americans, I feel like when they report this stuff, there's kind of like this.
That's like a very like, especially for that time when you're saying like Americans, because a lot of times you'd think like when we get these American stories, everybody's, especially a person in a position of power, like a law enforcement officer, there might be some negative connotations with seeing fucking aliens, right? So everybody's kind of reserved, but this entire case file, like all the government, everybody seems to be super inclusive and like, let's try and figure out what the fuck this is. Let's bring in everybody. Let's bring in UFO experts. Let's bring in the media. Let's like, it was super interesting. It's totally handled way different than most case files we see.
So open. It was it's very strange.
Correctly.
Very Belgian.
Well, you know what it does? It also eliminates the ability for people to be like, think there's some underhandedness or some sort of cover up, because everyone's like, we're all at the table. Here we all have no idea, right? And so when you bring everyone into the fold, there's none of like they're withhold. They know, right? They're all like, something cool happened.
Their views on UFOs, just like sex, are very liberated in Europe. So UPenn is located just a few kilometers from the German border. And it's about 130 kilometers like east of Brussels. And when the two officers were on their patrol route, they pulled up to like a crossroads near the town, and they said they noticed something really strange that they didn't really see before. Is that like off to the side they saw like a field that is normally like pitch black was brightly illuminated to the degree where they described it as looking like a football pitch, like it completely lit up by like stadium lights. And so they pulled over to the side of the road to observe this phenomenon, what was going on. And they were like completely puzzled by what they actually saw. And what they described is they saw a perfectly silent, large triangular object floating at low altitude with 3 lights, one in each corner. And then there was additionally in the middle of the underside of this craft, this UFO, they said there was a bright red light that was flashing at regular intervals. Like you're just like you pulling up to the side of the road and you're just like up there. It's like
this huge triangle craft or some like object illuminating.
So this is one of the like I know this case like mostly, and there's probably a few other ones, but this one specifically is where you get the association of like the black triangle UFOs, and we'll probably talk about it a little bit more later, but like, you know, where people talk about black triangle UFOs, like this is where it comes from.
This is it. It was described as a black triangle.
Well, and I think it comes from this one because of the number of eyewitness accounts that saw something super similar.
Not like the black solid triangles. Like there was probably, I think, what was it? The one in Texas, they had the one that was like a V. That was like a
with the
V
lights
shape, like a more like a V shape. That like one.
But
the solid black triangles and the photos and like the descriptions of solid black triangle UFOs with the 3 points of light on their corners is like this one. Like it's very characteristic.
Perfect sense. Have you ever seen a European fucking outlet? Right? We have our circular UFOs. Prawns. They got their fucking weird triangle ones.
Yeah. Different UFOs for different regions. Yeah. And the other thing is like there's so many witnesses that describe seeing the exact same thing during this thing. And there's photos. Like you can look up photos of the Belgian wave UFO and there's photos of
there's one specific famous photo. We'll probably talk about it. A little bit later, but when you pull up like associated with this case is that one, and people will be like, oh yeah, what about this photo? All the time we see on the UFO stuff, the forums we frequent for our weird show, and it's like this one. What about this one? Always about this one. We're like, oh yeah, that's the Belgian UFO wave photo. So the 2 gendarmes, Henrique and
you heard
Hubert,
it too, right? Listening out that you heard it.
Yeah.
2 Van Dams.
2 Van Dams.
They immediately call their dispatcher in UPenn, Albert Kreutz. And so when Albert Kreutz got the phone call from them, he hears them describing this object, and he said they were kind of in good spirits when they took, because they had no idea what they were seeing, but they were still joking about what they were seing. Like it's not like a phone call. Like
fucking,
yeah. Is it Santa Claus?
What do you think? It's certainly not an hamburger.
So they're on the phone call. Yeah. And so they joked. And he said that was one of the things that they said was like, oh, they were joking about maybe it was Santa, because it was, near Christmas time, holidays. And they're like, oh, maybe it's Santa Claus coming down to land.
How cool to be that chill. Just looking at something, like I wouldn't be like, there's no way I'd be like, oh
these
yeah,
guys are fucking gendarmes.
Yeah, Van Dams.
They're real pros.
Gendarme Van Dams.
Yeah,
Gendarme Van
Dams. So as this craft begins to move, according to Heinrich, he and Hubert like followed the object as it moved like across the Belgian countryside. So as long as they could follow it, they stayed on the road. Like fortunately for them, they were able to follow it because they're like, oh, it wasn't moving that fast. Like we were able to follow it on the road and just kind of like, stay at like a normal speed.
Yeah, das ist gut, ja. Follow. Das ist gut.
What a way to kill a shift, eh?
Yeah.
You're like, all right, we're just going to cruise at 5 miles an hour here, looking at these lights.
And
sure make beats taking like 4 15-minute poo breaks.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Let's be realistic. It's way better. Time goes by way faster.
And I know in some other reports and from the two gendarmes, they say that interestingly enough, that this craft, like it was also easy to follow it because it would like stop or slow at some points. And then they said like 1 or 2 lights, like they said laser beams or something like that would come down. And then between these laser beams, the red light would drop out from the bottom of this object and then kind of move around what seemed like in kind of like a systematic pattern.
Yeah, it looked like it was searching for something.
Searching, scanning.
Yeah, right. No, it was like fucking 3D holographic Pong they were playing in the sky.
Yeah.
Right? 2 lasers and they're fucking bouncing around the ball.
So
they said they thought it was measuring something. Measuring
like that's what it looked like, or something. It was either searching or measuring something. Just the way comparing it to some type of analog to how we would think about it. And then you had Heinrich and Hubert. Like they told Kreutz, like, hey, go up to the roof of go to the top floor of the station and look out the window and like see if you can see this, because they weren't that far away. And they're like, can you see this thing? And then Kreutz said like he went up there not really expecting to see anything, but then he looked out there and he was able to see that object or another object,
craft,
the same type of craft that they were describing. He saw this large triangular object off in the distance, and like he didn't know what it was, but it looked like what they were describing, seeing from their perspective. And then he also saw a display. This thing shot out a couple of lasers, like a fucking Daft Punk show or something. I don't know. And then
it's ABBA, right?
Yeah.
Round the world, around the world.
And then with this laser beam, and then having, I guess, like it would shoot out that light, and then also the same thing would happen. Like the small little red light would come out and then go back into the ship itself. So when Kreutz like came back down from like the top floor and then went back to the switchboard, he said it was just lighting up and then answering the first couple phone calls. It was like everybody was reporting seeing the same thing. He was getting phone calls from people all over UPenn reporting seeing something.
Because
really
people are shitting their pants. Like the fucking Van Dams might be chilling, but everybody else is gonna be shitting their pants because this is how long post Cold War, right? Like you're still kind of on the edge of your seats, right?
You're at the end of the Cold War.
You're right at the end of the Cold War, right? Like everybody's still a little fucking fired up.
Honestly, it's so hard for me to be like, what kind of person sees a weird light in the sky and is like 911? No, who do you need? Fire, ambulance, police, the police,
everyone.
There's lights.
No, these are
the product of the time, though, right? Like now, it probably doesn't happen. We don't get I can't tell you hearing any stories from 911 dispatchers about that type of shit now. But back then, right, you kind of shit your pants a little bit.
Yeah.
But I guess the gendarmes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably got a separate line.
Yeah.
Well, they're like the state. The gendarmes are like the state police force. They're not like I don't know if they're like
the best.
Yeah, they're like a military branch of the police force or something like that.
Holy fuck! So they're the Belgian GI Joes.
Kinda, I think.
That's
so.
pretty
Maybe
badass.
So they are the gendarmes, Van Dams.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
I'm confused now. What's the actual term? It is the gendarmes.
Gendarmes. Van Dam.
Right. And
they have special training. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so.
You got to do the splits. You got to wear action pants.
You got to be able to do the flying roundhouse kit.
Fucking 2 kumites.
Yeah, 2 kumites.
2 kumites.
You have to at least knock out Bolo Young.
You got to be able to shatter the bottom brick.
Oh yeah, you got to do the death touch.
And you also got to be able to dance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, that's loose. That's a loose requirement.
Gotta be able to move like that.
Wish you could dance that good.
Yeah, you gotta be able to move loose. Yeah, dude, the guy dances like Gumby. Okay, like it's insane. I've never seen anyone look like they have no bones in their body.
Sending that clip without context to anybody is the best. Like it's just like what the fuck?
Yeah, it is something. It is something else.
That top that he wears in that scene is like,
oh, he's wearing a stringer.
Yeah. So what I guaranteed
stringer,
every single guy, if you want to be in the fucking gendarmes, you've got to wear like your slacks have to come up past your belly button, and then your top half is just a stringer.
You gotta wear stringers,
right? And your hairstyle has to be from some sort of Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. So probably one of them has a mullet from Time Cop. Yeah, right. 100%.
Hard Target. Was it Hard Target?
Yeah, Hard Target. Yeah,
Lionheart. That's fun.
Yeah, like, good.
Yeah, be able to do that.
Yeah, well,
it is.
Dude,
yeah, that's a stringer, boys. That is a fucking
look at that. Look at those moves.
I can't remember somebody talking about. They're like, it looks like it should be a woman's top. It should be a lady's top.
No,
and like somebody didn't tell him or something.
That's a stringer, man. Those are normal. You see those all the time.
I got a whole closet full, boys. I haven't busted them up for the show, but I've been thinking about it.
Next week, 350. We all wear.
I'm not jacked enough to wear a stringer. You got to be full.
We already.
I'm gonna get a muscle suit first, and then put that over top.
Yeah. You got to be like. You're gonna be like a never nude.
Yeah.
Have one of those fucking just suits underneath.
So Kreutz gets he fields another call from another set of gendarmes. Dieter Plumans.
He's not even sitting at a desk. He's doing the splits between two office chairs.
Right. Yeah.
At the switchboard.
He's roundhouse kicked his chair to the back. He's like,
we got shit to do. Spin kick.
And so when he gets a call from Plumans, Plumans says they had heard people on the radio talking about what they had seen, this flying object, and they thought it was some kind of joke, but then they saw the same thing and they didn't really think it was funny anymore, because like both him and his partner got this he says that they got a real strange feeling, and it was like impossible to fully explain.
You're getting that Van Damme tingle. Something's amiss. Something's wrong.
Initially, they thought it was some kind of like American airplane. They thought it was some kind of like military aircraft. They couldn't really
stealth bomber.
Yeah, they couldn't really find an explanation for what it was, but they were like, it was something real, and it was right above them. They said that they followed, whether it was the same object or another object. He said that they followed the one that they saw, Plumans and his partner, for several minutes until it came and stopped and hovered over what was, I guess at the time, was a retirement home. And both of these, both of them got outside of the car.
Geezers.
I know, like coming out here to steal our old people.
Jesus.
What would you want with them? What do you want? What do you want?
Well, that's like when we've talked about it before, when they come into like study humans, right? Yeah. Like you're going to want to study the end of the lifespan. The miserable, the horror, like
you want every stage for sure.
Yeah, like they're getting to the point where they need to start fucking studying congestive heart failure. So they fucking head over to the geezer factory.
No, there's no one better to abduct than like an old dude with dementia.
Oh, I guess
you bring him back. No one's gonna fucking believe a word,
dude. But there's no reasoning with him too. When you get him on the ship, he's loose cannon.
Oh yeah, but in the midst of fucking sundowners in a fucking spaceship, just be like that guy here in Kelowna. Dude.
Yeah, you're not locked in here. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
Yeah.
What recently?
No, this is I'd say. He's near the beginning of my career, maybe like 7-8 years ago. You could Google it. It like
just freaked out and stabbed a German guy.
Yeah, the guy's a World War II vet.
Just thought someone was after him, snuck up on him.
Fucking poor old Hans got fucking rough end.
He still carries his bayonet from World War II just in case.
Yeah. Coming out, it depends in a fucking helmet, ready to go.
Yeah,
strangling him with his fucking catheter bag.
So Plumans said they watched this craft hover over the retirement home for several minutes. The object seemed to...
Oh, that would be such a good movie. Hold on. That'd be such a good movie.
Pause.
Dude, Pause. Such a good movie.
Pause for a pitch.
Listen to this.
Geezers.
Right, Stealing Geezers. Imagine like you guys remember like Bubba Hotep, where it's in like the retirement and the zombies trying to get them. Except it's aliens coming down to an old folks home with a bunch of like like World War II vets who are like you said, and it's just like all out war, and they're like, we love it. We're back, baby. This is our time to shine.
I could see them doing like Kevin McAllister stuff, like they empty their boost in the hallway.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
They got their teeth out. Right?
Yeah.
Aliens are looking at it. He comes all from
he
behind
sprays
him.
his catheter bag in his face.
Yeah. Super gory. Rated R. Stealing Geezers.
Coming soon to a theater near you.
Yeah. Copyrighted.
I'm going to make that with AI actually right now. I'd probably make it in 5 minutes.
So Plumans and his partner said that they observed this craft like over the retirement home, exhibiting the similar behavior that Heinrich described of the other craft.
Heinrich and Heinrich?
Heinrich and Hubert, what they described on their ship, where is also like the small little red light in the center of the craft would like come out, and they would describe it as kind of like either like changing different shades of red to orange to yellow, and then to rouge, going around and like circling around, moving in patterns, and then moving back up into the ship. And as they were stood there watching it, they said towards the end of the encounter, this object seemed to shrink into what like it appeared to be like a single point of light, and then completely disappeared from sight over the thing, gone.
With no sound still.
No sound.
Like no sonic boom, nothing. Like just
nothing. Just gone. Just gone. So by the time the evening would be over there, like this is November 29th evening, they would be at least 30 different groups and like 3 separate pairs of police officers that would allege to have seen these unidentified flying objects. Like they had all of these reports of people just like seeing the same thing, same descriptions, or close to strange lights.
You
objects
can
in the
look
sky.
at the drawings that people did, and they're all like, you're just like, I mean, some of the shapes very, very like they from a triangle.
Shapes. Like one guy's driving a triangle, other guy's doing a rectangle.
Yeah, one guy's doing a rhombus, and
octagon.
Some of the ones that I saw, the triangle on the bottom of the triangle had like a little cone like edged back in, as if it was like almost like a Star Fox logo kind of thing, but not as prominent. You know what I mean?
Like the Star Trek symbol.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But yeah, just a little bit, not too much. But like I only saw that variation in the drawing just a little bit, but for the most part, it was all very similar.
Like
so as an expert, a UFO expert, where you find it credible.
Yeah.
Well, I find it very interesting that so many people drew pictures and are strikingly similar to what is described by
they're all sitting at the same kids like craft table. All right, now try your fucking crayon fucking
looking over.
Copying off his buddy fucking I saw that too. Same one
over his shoulder. Yeah, I mean all that depends on perspective too, and like how far away you are, what type of cloud cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe there is just multiple crafts that are like not all of our planes have, they're kind of similar, but some look like fucking spaceships.
Yeah. Like
the stealth fighters and stuff. Like that's not the same thing.
Yeah, but like mostly the ones that are like, you look at a transport airplane, like they all kind of look the same.
They all look the same.
Right?
So I'd
imagine they'd have like the similar ones that were built to travel intergalactically to the world.
Yeah, they have the landing craft, generic, and then above them,
the protection craft.
The protection. Yeah. Their version of the stealth.
Okay, yeah.
So the following weeks after this event on November 29th would be packed full of people calling in and reporting their different sightings of objects in the sky, like strange phenomenon, and so much so that the Belgian military kind of contacted. They were taking so many calls that they were like, we need some help on this. So they ended up getting in contact with a group of Belgian UFO enthusiasts called the acronym was SOBEPS, which stands for the
We've talked about these guys before.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that for a second in the States happening? Like the military's like, we're getting swamped. We better call fucking MUFON in.
we did.
God damn, we better call Tom DeLonge.
I think it was after. What was it? There was one where they did have one of the civilian UFO. I think it was proto MUFON. Like it was before. What was the other one? I can't remember. The one that came before MUFON. The government involved them just to like be able to collate and like aggregate like all of the UFO sightings. It's just a little bit easier.
Who came from MUFON? The name's better too.
Who came up with MUFON? Or
no, what was the one before MUFON?
I know we talk about it all the time.
ATIP.
No.
They talked about it in Adamski. Fucking awesome name.
NICAP.
Yeah. NICAP was proto.
Way better. Yeah. Way better.
Because what's his face was on that one. That was the guy from Blue Book.
Alan Hynek.
Yeah. So then, but with the SOBEPS people, like it stands for Belgian Society for the Study of Space Phenomena, and one of their primary investigator, on this case, was a professor of physics at Belgium's largest French-speaking university at the time, named Auguste Meessen.
Dr. Meessen.
Look to the left. He wasn't sure. Look, you can tell. He looks to the left.
So, and Meessen would go and track down like the two gendarmes, the Heinrich and Hubert, and he interviewed them himself. And they kind of like took over the main, they kind of took over the role as kind of like media, like the media communication. So getting all like the main source of information about the UFOs that the media would report, they were getting it from SOBEPS. Like SOBEPS was coming in, collecting all the data and the sightings and the reports, and then they would go and they would take that to the media, and they kind of had the tacit blessing of the like implicit blessing of like the military, the Belgian military at the time. They kind of like, yeah, you guys can take this and kind of take over for this and do what you need to do. So like SOBEPS would go and pursue the rest of the reports of this UFO activity over Belgium, like over the period of months, and just people calling in and being like, yeah, more and more people as they realized like what was going on, and like, you know, people going outside looking up and seeing all this strange activity.
they just had, now that I'm rethinking about this, they just really they're like, we're not doing this. The military's like, listen, we're not going door to door.
Well, it's like
I know someone who will.
So by like December 21st, like they had official reporting procedures that were communicated to the public. Like I think like through TV and like newspapers and stuff like this. They had like, so first you're supposed to call like your local police, like you confirm with the police, and then they would put you in touch with like SOBEPS or somebody like an investigator, and then you would file your report. Like they would confirm that it was something that you saw, and then there was like this whole kind of like step-by-step procedure that they put out that if you see something weird, hey, this is what you should do, which was kind of interesting, which I felt like you guys said before, this is like a national effort to solve this UFO mystery that was, you know, occurring at that very moment over the skies in Belgium.
Yeah, so it's wild to me that, like, now that I think about it, I truly think that the military was like, all right, we're going to hand this off. These guys are going to be super enthused to do this work and give us a report, and it's going to be great. We can involve them. And then they're like, they probably got the report, and they're like, we're still deputized. We're going to work together on more projects, right? Like you said, they're like, yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's a little brother syndrome.
Classified.
It's like a guy in Happy Gilmore. Go for a Red Lobster shooter.
Yeah.
But stuff would get
maybe another time.
We're friends, right, shooter? That's great.
Stuff would get really crazy like months after the first event and March 30th of 1990. But we'll talk about that right after we take a quick break.
We'll be right back. This episode is sponsored by Moo.com.
Hey, dudes, if you're like me and Zell, man, we totally think cannabis should be accessible, affordable, convenient, and transparent, dudes.
Have you heard of Moo.com? They sell federally legal weed, gummies, everything you'd expect from a dispensary, and shipping it right to your door. No Budweiser sweats required.
I'm serious, dudes. You can now get high quality, 100% federally legal cannabis products delivered right to your door without ever leaving your couch.
And you can get $30 off your first order at mood.com/alien with promo code ALIEN.
Best of all, dudes, not only is every Mood product backed by a 100-day satisfaction guarantee, but dudes, as I mentioned, listeners get $30 off their first order, man, with promo code ALIEN, man.
That's right. Head over to mood.com/alien or click the link in the show notes. Check out the dispensary and let Mood help you discover and expand your perspectives.
Owning a boat comes with a number of perks, like being able to fling your favorite fishing rod around. And here's another perk. Geico's boat insurance covers your boat and your belongings. And with specialist support from agents that are as passionate about boating as you are, there's so much value that you'll want to high-five someone. But not while you're holding your fishing rod. That's a prized possession. So hold on tight with both hands and keep it covered through boat insurance. Get more with Geico.
Nice.
We're back.
We're back.
It just really worked. Like all of our mine aren't in the same.
I don't know. I don't think we're all in the same order.
Yeah, we're not the same
Are we
order.
not?
Like,
It was good.
okay.
It looked good on my
One
screen.
more for good measure. One more for good
ready?
measure. Go. Yeah.
That was all in a row.
That was in a row
was-
for
that
me.
was
It was
good.
perfect.
Just guess.
Was on.
It's not
on the
my
live stream. We're in a different grid, but doesn't matter. Do the wave at home with us.
Yeah. Take a wave break. We're back.
We're back. Now it's time for Belgian Top Gun music. Cue the Kenny Loggins music. Bing, bing.
Cue the Kenny Loggins.
The danger song. So eventually, like you had these large amount of sightings coming out.
How do you
and it's like
sing it in
all
a French accent? Hold on. Can you sing it in a French accent?
Qu'est-ce que c'est un stylo, je m'appelle Andrew. It's pretty good, eh?
What's
Calculatrice, simmer here.
How
It
can the
would
cheese
be-
and stilo is all that we know.
Bicyclette.
bibliothèque? So it'd be highway to zone de danger.
Did you just Google Translate?
Yeah, I did.
I seen you looking off to the side.
Highway to zone de danger.
Yep.
That's what they're singing in the when we're talking about Belgian pilots. That's what they're singing.
So the Belgian military would eventually like come out like after this happened. They were like reported because people like they didn't release to the public like or make it public knowledge that on the evening of March 30th, 1990, at 11 p.m. They had like an actual close encounter. Some jet pilots had a close encounter with these, or seemingly allegedly these UFOs. So on that night, you had the Control Reporting Center in Glans, which was east of Brussels at that time, it's the town of Glans, detected unidentified radar signals that matched the location and movements of objects that were being reported by witnesses. At that time, like people on the ground had called like the police, and then they had called the radar to check in with the local like reporting centers and been like, do you guys have anything on radar? And the radar, you know, it's funny enough, they were picking up these signals. So the radar's readings were unusual enough that, you know, from what they could tell, they were displaying like erratic behavior and these rapid change, like from what they were observing, like jumping rapid around. Changes in altitude and speed. They're like,
the same shit.
Humans couldn't do this.
Yeah, the same shit Fravor talked about, like that we've heard Kevin Day and stuff. Except this is the 90s, and like the military has come out with this in Belgium. It's crazy.
If humans are in these craft, they're getting turned to jello, like just from the force of going. What do they say? Like fucking like 5 to like 1,000 miles per hour in like 2 seconds. Just like
something pretty crazy. Like
ridiculous.
going from like 5,000 to like 500 feet in like a couple seconds, like
almost
just
teleporting,
just down. So they scrambled a group of F-16 jets.
But listen, jets, shut the fuck up. They scrambled some Van Dams. You know, could you imagine?
Jean-Claude Van Damme was doing he was doing the splits between
two F-16s. Could you imagine the couple Van Dams, like the monologues on the way to this jet plane? Like, I'm gonna get in my plane. I'm gonna fly up in the air. I'm gonna kick that son of a bitch alien's ass so hard, the next son of a bitch alien is gonna feel it.
Their call signs are nonconformiste and wa, which is French for Maverick and Goose.
You're still Googling translating.
That's good stuff.
Nonconformiste and wa going up there.
That'd be good.
Nonconformiste. I don't think
nonconformiste.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's what Maverick is. That's Maverick.
But like, I'm sure it's a little bit different.
They probably have it. Man, French is a cool language. They got a cool ass name.
Probably a better word for it.
Fucking Maverick. Maverick probably is French.
It's like,
right.
Now I need to watch Top Gun
French.
with like French subtitles.
In French.
Yeah.
To see if they say
God damn it, nonconformiste.
You're dangerous. You are dangerous.
Yeah. Highway to Zone de Tangier.
Fuck yeah.
So once the jets got up into the air,
when he died, no,
once the jets got up to the air, what they said that they found was they had 9 separate intercepts attempted by these F-16s. Like they were trying to trying to get eyes on these objects that they were picking up on their radar. So during what they reported, like during the 3 times they were able to lock on to these targets, like they were able to get like a good tone or whatever. And then the objects would just like disappear, like ultra rapid pace, like just take off. And they'd be like, okay, they're just about to get it. And the pilots seem to report like it's almost like these things were playing with them. Like we've had, this kind of report before, like these craft were either like toying with them, playing some kind of cat and mouse game, that every time, or, they were detecting that they were being locked onto and they just said, okay, and then gone, took off, gone.
Because despite, the bystanders that are witnessing this and the fact that they're showing up on radar, not a single one of these fucking pilots have made a visual contact with these guys yet. Like they have not seen them. So
they were picking them up on radar, but they're unable to like get like physical, like visual contact.
Zero visual contact.
But something like their instruments were picking up that something was there and moving and seemed to be in the same places that the control towers were picking them up. So
I would just be screaming the entire time then.
Tabernacle! Fucking tabernacle! And people on the ground, like Andrew said, like they were watching these jets like fly around. Yeah, they were watching these jets. Some kind of like strange thing where they got these F-16 jets were flying over these towns trying to get eyes on these things, and they said that they observed them flying in these search patterns looking for these objects. And so from what
they're just raining missiles onto the countryside.
Trying everything they can.
It's a Cold War. You can't take chances.
So after, several attempts to try and intercept these UFOs. They said that all of them just kind of disappeared from both the jets radars and the ground radar systems. And the pilots just had to return to base around 1 a.m. without being able to identify what they had just
shame
detected.
In complete and utter shame.
This is a crazy one for me because like I wish we had done this one a long time ago, because like we talked about like the go fast and we've talked about the gimbal and we're like, oh, maybe this is advanced technology. And it's like, okay, well, if we were saying that about the gimbal and the go fast video, that this is some advanced like earthly drone technology, the Belgians were seemingly having the same issue in the 90s, exactly what Commander Fravor and the Nimitz had. Like
the crazy thing is about those videos, like the Nimitz and stuff, those like 2004, 2007. It's it's closer to the 90s from then than from now back.
Yes.
Whoa.
Isn't that insane?
Hold on. Actually, you know what? Fuck you, Zell.
Yeah.
What is that? Why are you bringing that shit up?
You felt it. You felt it in your soul right there, didn't you?
Yeah.
I felt it in my hairline, buddy.
Dude, the 90s, that was 10 years ago.
2004 is closer to 1989 than 2024 is to 2004.
You shut your filthy mouth.
Shut your damn mouth. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking that to myself as well. It feels weird, doesn't it, to say that kind of stuff.
Way to kill
All right,
the vibe.
keep those eyes on the skies. We're gonna go fucking buy you.
Going to the fetal position in the shower. Cry.
Gotta go.
But it's not that far before the like this. It could easily be the same craft, same technology. We're in 89, 2004, 2007.
Yeah, 100%. That's not. It's not. But to me, like we were talking about that, like man, that must have been some advance. But it's like, fuck, other places on Earth were reporting this like a decade prior, right? The same kind of, the same kind of incidents, like it's this cat and mouse is seemingly they're popping up on radar.
We have footage of that other stuff.
We have pictures of these ones.
You have
reported picture.
So
it's not a hoax. Come on.
Of the 1,000 reports, thousands of reports that they got that SOBEPs, collated and collected, and then along with the police reports and all of those things and descriptions of these craft, one photo remains as the most the closely associated with this
only
event.
photo.
Only photo.
It's the only photo with
the rest are drawn.
Sightings? 2,000 sightings?
Reported there were 2 photos, but one got thrown away because it wasn't very good.
It's not very good. It's not artistic. Thrown garbage.
The one that will come up when you Google this is what is referred to as the Petit Racine photo. Racine photo. That is the blurry-ish photo of what is, from the descriptions, it fits the description as a black triangle UFO. It's got the lights on, it's got 3 lights on each corner, and I think you might be able to see like a small reddish light in the middle. And this one was apparently made at the beginning of 1990. And from what they said, it was sent in by an anonymous source, it was I think they used a pseudonym. They didn't want to give their real name. And they said that they had been out walking their dog with their girlfriend at the time. And the girlfriend noticed something up in the sky. The guy happened to have his camera on hand.
Fucking Polaroid, just took a little snapperoo of that
Took a couple snaps of the photos of this thing. And he said they went to go develop the film. When they got the developed photos back, he said that one of them was too blurry and it was you couldn't see anything. And then they had the one that they did keep was okay, there's definitely something here. What most people will probably see when you end up looking up this photo is that it's probably the enhanced version of the photo.
Yeah. From Unsolved Mysteries.
From Unsolved Mysteries, which
this is the photo right here from Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah, if you're watching the stream, we'll show you the video. Yeah, I will show you the
right
photo.
Now. We'll show you the video enhanced, and if you turn up the
eyewitnesses itself on YouTube, first time on this show.
So that is the video, and I think if I fast forward a little bit, it shows there's a enhanced. Oh no, the one before is enhanced.
There's just a photo of it.
Every time
look at that sexy fuck right there.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that executive.
Buddy's got that sweet coiffed fucking mane there. It looks good.
Yeah,
that's the enhanced version. Right. So you change the contrast.
In these Unsolved Mysteries, every time Robert Stack says computer, it sounds like he's saying it as if he's never seen that word before in his life, or like doesn't know what it is. Yeah, he's like
digitally enhanced.
Yeah. On the
computer enhanced.
Computer. He says it so hard. Computer.
So yeah, like you'll see the enhanced photo, which is like when you pull up the non-enhanced one, it's like, yeah, it's just three lights with one in the middle, with the one reddish light in the middle. But then when they said like when they got the photo and they're able to send it to photograph experts, they were able to increase like the contrast of the thing, and you can definitely make out the triangle shape
and honestly
of the object itself.
I mean, in the 90s, did you really have to send that to an expert to do that? Because I could do that in 2 seconds.
Like I mean, back then you did. This is the 90s, okay?
Yeah,
like,
I guess so.
You know, like
are you sending negatives? I guess did be developed with higher contrast. Like
I don't think they sent them the negatives.
Yeah, everybody had their own personal dark rooms back in the 90s. I believe television, right? No, you gotta go to the local high school. They all have the dark rooms.
Yeah, the high school had the dark room.
Photography club.
Yeah,
photography club.
Yeah.
So that photo still remains to this day. Like it's highly controversial because recently, right? This was 2011 recently. So like that, like it's 2011, like it's recent.
Closer to 1980 than today.
Shut the fuck up.
The Belgian news organization RTL reported that they had a hoaxer given a confession that they had perpetrated that photo with a couple of friends, and they like that was the photo that is, you know, it is the one associated with this Belgian UFO wave, one of the more famous UFO cases from the 80s, 90s, and saying that photo is fake. He said that photo is fake. A couple of friends and me got together. We took a piece of styrofoam, painted it black, like popped in a couple lights on the ends. We hung them from a string and we took a photo, and this is what we got. And we did it just to mess with people, and didn't say anything until now.
Those little fucks. No, they're government plants, government shills. They didn't actually do it.
Yeah.
And that's off the trail.
Yeah. That's the main discourse online, is like, some people say like, yeah, some people say, well, okay, yeah, it's a hoaxer. Take the guy at his word. And then other people are like, no, like, you know, this guy is, there's no way. It's still, like I said, it's still controversial to this day, whether that is that photo is actually a hoax, or it is a actual photo of one of the craft that was appearing above the skies of Belgium.
Surprising that there's not more photos given the amount of witnesses.
Yeah, but like early 90s, who has a camera? Like 89, 90?
All the people have cameras in the 90s.
No.
My mom went everywhere with their camera. I have like 75 fucking photo
dude,
albums.
If you think your digital camera on your phone takes a bad picture at night, try it with any kind of camera.
My picture takes a fucking great photo at night.
This is 89?
Yeah. This is 1990.
Yeah,
brutal. It would have been produced maybe in 1990.
Yeah.
It's going to be brutal at night.
It's still brutal. Photos are better than none. Like no one else thought to take a picture of this thing. No one.
Sure,
you had 2,000 people that fucking witnessed it. There's one.
You had those
photo.
like you even had Polaroids. Remember those fucking Polaroids?
Yeah,
they're OGs.
There's no way you're getting a good Polaroid.
Out of 2,000 people, not one person had a fucking camera on them.
So maybe they did, and they took a picture of it. It's just fucking black, and they're like, oh.
Yeah, they just got bad photos at
Nothing.
night. Like, yeah.
Actually, early 90s, there wasn't a lot of portable cameras.
No,
and cameras that took good photos at night.
There's people with cameras. It's insane that 2,000
yeah, but I'm saying
one photo.
Yeah, but there's not going to be pictures with good pictures. People with good pictures.
The one that we have isn't good. That's fine.
1990 saw the first entirely digital camera.
Okay,
the first entirely digital camera called the Photo Man. The Photo Man.
Any other tangible?
The Mega Man.
So what? All these people are just lying then? Like, like all these reports are just lying
already? Because like this fucking CBOS or whatever the fuck the company that.
What about all the cops?
All these reports came from fucking 2 to 3 weeks after the event.
So yeah, like some of the I mean, there is some doubt that whether all of the data that was collected by SOBEPS may have been a little bit accurate or maybe have been a tad bit biased about this, because all of the information or a majority of the information that we have about this is all from SOBEPS, and it's all people that because of the amount of reports that they were having at the time, SOBEPS had to go out and they felt they had to go out and they had to recruit more people. So there is some criticism as to whether SOBEPS was just like bringing people off of the street, just be like that weren't entirely qualified to take
homeless
reports.
People.
I mean, like they were just grabbing people up and being like, "Hey, do you like UFOs or do you know whatever?" And like, do you want to help us report on these? You know, maybe not. Like I said, maybe they weren't exactly qualified to be taking accurate reports, or classically trained in collection, the collection methods.
Let's look at Braden. You don't have to be classically trained or professional in any way to be called an expert.
You just call yourself an expert.
Fucking expert couldn't even get a picture when he had a digital camera in his pocket or in the seat next to him. So
a 30
because it's a case that like nobody's
fucking
can get
camera,
a picture. Like,
night vision. Auto stabilization.
Yeah, we have like night
autofocus.
His expert card's been completely and utterly revoked. That's gone.
It's been revoked.
It's gone.
I don't think so.
Diplomatic immunity.
You can't revoke nothing.
You can't revoke something that doesn't exist.
Yeah. That's fair. That's true.
But yeah, like Andrew said, like some of the reports came in like rather late, like after the fact that these things happened.
Well,
but it did like
from
over
what I
months.
read, they like what was the name of the place again? Or the people? SIBOs?
SOBEPS.
They like went out and like put out ads being like, "Did you see anything?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right, and that's where the majority of these sightings came from.
Yeah, so
right?
like
so they had to be like, hey, yeah, maybe that fucking big shiny star I saw fucking 2 weeks ago, maybe that was a fucking saucer.
Yeah. So yeah, but there probably would have higher chance of those kinds of reports.
I mean, there's so many drawings though that are similar.
Yeah, again, we don't know where did all these guys sit at a similar table that got brought in by Sobez and draw them together? Like, I don't know. It's a tough part for me. It's like,
what about the cops and stuff?
I have tangible evidence of mass hysteria. I know that's a real thing and it happens. I don't have tangible evidence of a giant fucking triangle shaped craft.
What about the Van
Dams?
What about the Van Dams?
Scramble the Van Dams.
Yeah.
What about
Van Dams? So,
yeah, who
what about
were pacing? They were pacing in the car.
Yeah, and they're more credible than average Joe? I don't think so.
So you think those two are fucking lying?
I just think they're 90% of the sightings we get are from cops.
I think cops are the.
I mean, they're
the fucking issue here.
You could.
No, I'm just saying. I'm like, I don't know why.
Like, against cops.
I don't know why it matters. Like, other than they're like working like aerospace or they've, they have experience with crafts and stuff. I'm like, okay, maybe we'll give these guys. But like a regular fucking cop, I'm like, okay. You saw some shiny lights in the sky? I've seen shiny lights in the sky, and I found it was fucking Starlink, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, fucking, you know what I mean? Like,
it's true. We know a cop's. It's not trained. It's not trained to identify aerial threats.
They're just fucking guys that work nights, so they look at the sky more than normal people.
But their description,
they work a job no one wants to work.
But even their description of what they described,
they saw bright lights. As bright as the lights that you see at a fucking soccer field.
But what would you then attribute that if you had to be like, okay, well, they just missaw something?
They attribute to helicopters.
What is silent, makes no noise, and can light up the field.
They attributed it to like the wind at the time, or potentially if they were far enough away and the sounds of the diesel engines of the vehicle they were driving at the time can drown out.
What about the red lights coming out the bottom? Like, what about that one?
The spotlight?
Red light?
Yeah, but the red light that's moving between the two like laser looking lights.
I don't know, man. Like
we're getting to Andrew circa 2018 here.
That's because I'm on the fucking drinks. I drink and I become more logical. I'm like, I can't pretend to play along.
That's not supposed to be how that works.
No, it's different for me. It takes conscious effort for me to not to be the fucking asshole. Right? I have to like focus and try hard. Have a couple of drinks.
But it just, I don't know what I could attribute to. Yeah, you say helicopter, but then I'm like, but the lights don't make sense what they're saying. Like it doesn't line up with any helicopter I've ever seen.
No helicopters got a red light?
Yeah, but not one that detaches, drops down, and fucking
but like how
moves
far
around.
away were these things? Can you trust your eyes? I don't know.
What about no? I don't agree. These are fucking aliens for sure.
100%.
There's no doubt about it, man.
I just think it's an interesting one because I'm like, I can't attribute everything. Like you could say, oh, if it was just bright white lights, I'm like, sure, okay, maybe helicopter. But then it's like the red light that drops down from the center. So I'm like,
why fake the photo?
They didn't.
No, but like, why? Like, what you think they're just like, well, they're on the fucking trail. Do you guys think this is, if they think the Belgian UFO fucking flap from 1990 is legit, we better come out 10 years later and fucking disprove them because they are hot on the trail.
No, exactly. or it's just, those are like some fucking teenage hoaxers.
Could you imagine they're all sitting around a table 10 years later being like,
we finally got it.
We got it, boys. Just tell them that we made it ourselves. It's fake. God damn it, Jim.
It's so simple.
Genius.
It's so simple. It just might work.
Yeah.
It might fool one idiot from alien podcasts in the next 20 years.
In 30 years from now.
Just to like fully like to make it, there is one bit weirdness like towards the end of this case where it was like, so Meeson would go on, Meeson, the head of the investigation guy efforts from SOBEPS, would go ahead and like he would publish like a first edition of the book, like their findings. They were initially published like a whole thing, and they were pretty much leaning towards extraterrestrials, like that, or that at least these phenomenon that were occurring could not be explained by terrestrial aircraft and normal explanations. They were like, there's no real explanation aside from something. This is something that we don't know what it is. Probably aliens. I don't know, like that. But the thing is, eventually the Belgian military would come up with their own report. And this report would actually like end up being classified. And I don't think any civilian has had access to this, but they like somehow, Meeson got a copy of it. Like he was sent it either as a professional courtesy or something like that they, cause he was at the time he was a respected physicist. Like he was a professor of physics. Like he was, he had contacts within the Belgian military. He was, he was on good terms, with these, contacts and people within that were messing with this stuff. And like they sent him a copy of this report, and then he would go on and publish a second edition of their findings. And then in that one, he would go back on what he had said and said that not go back, but he said maybe he was leaning more towards like some type of like radar or atmospheric phenomenon.
They called it like it was angel something.
Right. It's called Bragg scattering. I think is the term. And it's like where there are disturbances in the air that will end up like producing like solid radar contacts. Like there can be like, interactions in the air and like they either form little pockets or something like that. And then, we call like, sometimes they're called angels, that, your radar system picks up on these things, but it's nothing but just like a warm ball of air that's just kind of hanging out and not supposed to be there. And, radar picks it up or something like that. Yeah. So I think that was what the second
the witnesses that like everybody saw, they said there was at that same time when the sightings came in, there was a satellite coming from the sky in Russia, right? That
yeah, there was one report. There was like it could have been a.
But they had the captain of the police show up at a dinner party, and he sat there and he like in the Unsolved Mysteries, and he's like, yeah, we looked up at the sky and there was like a whole bunch of these triangles flashing different lights, and I'm to believe that this is just fucking hot air. It was just some hot air.
I don't know. It's hard to say because like
swamp gas.
A lot of this was like all the information that you're getting is coming through this CBOS or whatever the fuck. I can't. CBEPS. I keep fucking that up. But and like from what I understand, they sensationalized a lot of it. Like even like the radar blips or the angels, like they reported 9 and there was actually like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, it's sometimes with cases like this. I think. Because you get so much information, because they were so invested in it and they collected a lot of data. Like they said, there were thousands of reports. It's kind of be like, okay, well, maybe a couple of these reports were like Braden said, like there were reports of like a down Russian satellite coming down and people reported that. Or there's some of the reports where, yes, it was Venus or something like that. But then you're kind of like, well, are all of them had to be with it? Because I mean, even when you go into like something like Project Blue Book and you had, hundreds of thousands of reports, there's still a percentage of those, like we can't explain what those are. We don't know what they are. So like, were some of those reports actual UFO craft? And then, you know, some of it, it's hard for me to be like, well, okay, some people saw Venus, some people saw a satellite, and that just proves all of the reports, you know, that puts all of them under radar, like, or, you know,
yeah,
I don't know. For me, it's like difficult.
It just takes a fucking one hoaxer to kind of ruin everything.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. But when you look back though, like when you look back on this one, like when I'm reading it and I'm looking at it, like the intrigue for me is that, like, again, like we said, 15 years later, we have just a couple years ago, we have the United States government being like, yeah, these videos that we have are real and we don't know what they are. And it kind of feels like the Belgian government was like being upfront in the 90s with this stuff, being like, we don't know what this is.
They're very open about it.
And like, you know,
awesome. Which was strange. It was a pretty unique quality at the time.
So we're attributing to, like, you know, getting shit on. We're kind of shitting on them for the fucking SOBEPs and this one hoaxer. But at the same time, it's like they scrambled jets. Jets saw radar. Like, no, I'm generalizing, but like, these things did happen and they just don't know why and what these things were on radar. But like later, like when you look at this case by itself, I think you can maybe go like, oh yeah, you know, who knows? Maybe hot air, all this stuff. Maybe there's these phenomenons and all these reports and this is all coincidence. But then when you take this case and you look at that, you know, 15 years later, the United States is having the fucking same thing happening to them, like another government on another side of the world. I start to go like, okay, well now can we make a connection?
The same, the shapes, I guess, not necessarily.
Yeah, the black triangle UFO has always. Yeah, that one's like people always talk about that, and they're always like, "What about the black triangle UFOs?" And I'm like, "This is where it kind of started," but it's like this one. I think it's closely the black triangle UFOs are closely associated with this one. I think there's the Hudson Valley UFO flap, and then there's like one more I can't remember. But I know like those are usually the ones. But when people mention, it's like this is what they're talking about, or this is where they heard about it. And every time somebody sees like, oh, the black triangle UFOs are back.
Maybe it was just a stealth bomber. Weren't they around in the 90s?
They were, but it's like if they're hovering slowly, it's like I kind of went down the whole bit like looking at like I was like, what about stealth helicopters? Like that would be cool. I like, you know, that would be pretty neat. I think I found out like the quietest helicopter of today is the H-130, which is like it's civilian, but it's also used things. But I was like, they're still. I watched a video of one of them flying, like, and I was like, oh, they're pretty quiet. Like they get kind of if they're far enough away, like you probably can't even hear it. Like you can barely
far enough away, sure, but anywhere close, they're just displacing air with a fucking rotor.
Yeah, but I'm saying like if those gendarmes are like if possibly like a helicopter, like if it were a military helicopter with some kind of, you know, whatever their rotor dampening, sound dampening material, I don't know, technology, sure. And they're like way out there, there's probably like a good chance that you might not be able to hear it. Like you might
way out there too, and the wind does affect it. So if the wind's, you know, going towards the object, it's going to stop sound from coming towards you.
Yeah, and
to a certain extent,
I think there's some doubt as to whether like the claims of it being completely soundless. And there's also some reports that be like, no, they could hear something, like they could hear like a low whine or something, whatever. And then most people just jump to helicopter. But I'm like, what kind of helicopter is this? Stealth helicopter? Because that's pretty fucking cool. Like, could they, I think like the military aircraft thing was still a pot, like that was probably like the top, you know, possible explanation for the Belgian military. So that even like the chief of operations of the air staff, General Wilfred de Brouwer, said that he ended up contacting the American military and asking them like if they were testing some kind of some type of secret aircraft or something over experimental aircraft over Belgian airspace. Of course, they said like no.
They're like we can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, like what are we supposed to say? Like are you guys testing some kind of top secret aircraft over a thing? No. Like why? It's like would we?
It's funny how they go right to the Americans.
Right. I was just like, yeah. So I don't know if it were a helicopter, it could be like, it'd have to be really quiet. I think one of the theories is that it was a helicopter and then it was a UH. It's UH. I thought it was like a Huey or something. Or maybe a Black Hawk. I don't know if Blackhawks were in service back then. I think they were.
Huey's like the one they used from like Vietnam, right?
Yeah. Like a Bell. Well, it would have been like a Bell something. I can't remember the thing. I think that was one of the.
Those ones are loud. I've seen every movie.
Style of helicopter, the Huey, like still one of the most widely used helicopter. They use it for like pretty much fucking everything.
Yeah. I think. Well, at
and
least
they're
like
always blasting CCR. It's crazy.
Yes,
always.
That comes standard on that. Yeah.
And they all seem
drown
to
out
be
the
mounted with
propeller.
50 cals. I don't know what's going on.
Some folks born raised the flag.
Ooh, that red, white, and blue. Fortunate son, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, the Belgian UFO wave is an interesting case, and there's a bunch of facets to it that make it still interesting to this day. Whether that photo is a hoax, whether all those reports can be discounted because of a couple of them can be explained by Venus or down satellites. Like, I don't know.
Take a look into it. Watch the Unsolved. Yeah. Watch the Unsolved. There's
Classic.
a couple cool articles.
Season
look at the
4,
pictures.
episode 10. The first segment is
Avi Stacks looking
right away.
good.
Gets right into it.
And like, make a determination for yourself. Look at this case from the 90s. Look at what's come out now. Can you make a connection? Is it all just coincidence that these same things continue to happen? And we have militaries now saying that they're real. And was this one fake? But other ones are real, or are they all connected? Let us know.
Yeah. Would you eat mushroom soup that has been marinating raw chicken? Would you do that? Let us know.
Let us know.
Yeah,
Try
how quick
it.
would you
get
deny
sick?
eating raw mushroom soup? Wasn't me. Nope. Didn't touch it.
No.
Nope.
Me? Who? Me?
Me?
No, not me.
Me would do that?
Yeah, it's like, good, because I had a ton of raw chicken in it. I was like, yeah, not me.
I knew that.
So, what kind of idiot would
Yeah,
eat that?
how do you spell salmonella? Just curious.
Just asking for a
Curious.
friend.
All right.
So we got. Hold on.
got a couple beauties.
I also fucked up the Patreon. If you're on one of the brand new tiers, something's
Brayden, you
amiss.
had one job.
Yeah,
one fucking job, Brayden.
Fucking job.
Honestly, I have no idea. Zell sent a ticket in. We have no idea why. If you're on one of the new tiers, you're not currently getting access to some bonus content. We don't know why. We're looking at it on our end. It appears to be working.
We
on
only
our
know
end.
of one, right? Though
I think the $15 tier is not working either.
there's only one-on-one, so 2 people so far.
Yes, 2 people. But I'm just letting you know, everyone.
All right, don't do the 15, and you're not going to do the other one. Let's be real. But don't do the 15. Do the 10 if you want. Seems to be not working. We're going to blame Brayden.
Yeah.
For now.
I had this set up for years. It always worked. People got the feed. Brayden does one time. It all goes to shit. It's his fault. He had one job. It's a piece of garbage. So message him. Yeah. Make sure you catch him on a really bad day too, at a bad time.
If you wanna rip into me, but the hours between like 9:30 and 10:30 during Monday to Friday are usually when I'm at the peak grumpiness. So you might get a fucking
an angry response.
Suck my ass, a mean response back if you're gonna grind my gears at that time. Just fair warning to everyone.
It's fair. You know what? We've talked about on grinds now. We're in our grumpy era.
Yeah,
Quite grumpy.
We're getting old boys.
yeah. Oh yeah.
We're very grumpy right now, most of the time. Except after 3 tall boys, I feel pretty good.
I'm feeling
It's a fucking
Good now.
bottle of Renner Red. Nothing
There you
bugs me now.
Anyways, these beauties went to alientheorist.com. They hit that support tab. They're trying to support their favorite podcast, throwing a few bucks our way. And if you didn't, did we tell people we got new tiers? Well, not new tiers, but new rewards for people who, new tiers that don't work. So don't touch those ones.
Don't touch the new tiers. They don't work right now. They will soon, hopefully.
Continued support on all the working tiers do yield merch rewards.
Yeah.
So you go.
So if you're the 10 or more, check it out.
Check
Get
it out.
stickers, shirts, sweaters, depending on your tier selection. You
Hoodies,
can,
mugs.
Yeah.
Every 3 months you get a little something from your boys.
Yeah.
This week we got Zachary Ward, Prince Morningstar, Carter, Villabilis, maybe the Omni Key, Stephen Auckland, and we read that one last week. So that's it this week. Thank you very much. We appreciate the support.
It's a good number. It's moving up. And as we always say at the end of these things, keep those eyes on the skies.
Peace.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to leave up holiday decorations year-round. Others have the need to use their garage as practice space for their new metal band. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.